Before I start my presentation of today, I would like to ask you people to write something about the topic. Our topic is poetic devices, or we say figure of speech. So first of all, I would like to ask you to write about the poetic devices. I'm just sharing a Padlet with you. Just a minute. Can you all see my screen? Dear educators, can you see my screen? Please reply. I have pasted a link. If you will click on this, you will get this page. And whatever you will write on this, I will be able to see. Everybody will be able to see. Have you seen the... Please give response, those who have joined. Archana ma'am, who all are with me? Click the link I have shared with you. You will get a Padlet. You can write on this. When you will click, the page will come like this. So on this page, you can write which poetic devices you already know. See, this is, good afternoon, ma'am. See, this is something not new. We already use in our classes. So today we have gathered over here to share and exchange our knowledge on poetic devices or figure of speech. So please do write. Yes, simile, metaphor, personification. Very good. You can write your name also along with it. Those who are sharing it. Yes, Moron. Very good. So everybody knows about all the poetic devices. Yes. Very nice. Thank you so much for writing. Only one person has written or different people have written on it. Okay. Sanjana. Thank you, Sanjana. Man, thank you. Others also, they can, if they can click on the link, they can write. If they have joined with laptop. Yes, ma'am. So at this, like everybody knows about it. So I'm stopping this. Okay. Other people are also writing. Thank you so much. Give me response, please. I cannot hear you. Whether you are able to write or this or not. Are you able to write, everyone? Can you send the link? Should I send the link again? Okay. Is it visible to all now? Is my link visible to all? Please click on this and write so that it is visible to everyone. Sunita ma'am is going to write something. Should I start with my presentation? I think some people are still, are going to write something.
It's all the same, ma'am.
Yes, Punita ma'am, you would like to write something in the Padlet?
अभी तो पूछ रहे हैं कि लोग कौन कौन ये कर रहे हैं.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much
नहीं, थोड़ा सा सुना बस.
for writing.
थोड़ा सा सुनना है बस मुझे.
Please listen the whole. Okay, thank you. So I'm stopping this here. I will share my PPT now. So let us discuss over there. Thank you so much for participating. Yes, so this one, let me see. Yes. Everybody is wishing good afternoon. Good afternoon to all. Okay. I'll share my PPT, which I have prepared for today's presentation. Yes. I hope it is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
देखो आपको अच्छा लगेगा कौन सा
Yes, here it is. In all walks of life, everything can be expressed literally or figuratively. There are two ways of saying things. To say in plain text, or you make it ornamental. Our figure of speech are the ornaments for our language. This we all know. So this is by me, Ravinder Kaur, AIF Master Trainer. Yes. So literal language, you say exactly what you mean. For example, that outfit is horrible. So how will you say in figurative language? You don't say exactly what you mean. The reader has to infer the meaning, isn't it? I would have never thought of putting that outfit together. See, because it is not looking good, that's right. So you have to infer the meaning out of that. Here are some examples. So literal descriptions are: grass looks green, sand feels rough, the flower smells sweet, the grasshoppers make a high-pitched noise. How can we say this in a figurative descriptions? The grass looks like spiky green hairs. This is simile. Sand is solid water, isn't it? It has become solid water. So metaphor. The flower has the sweetest smelling petals in the world. Hyperbole. Grasshoppers are fiddlers, imagine, who play their legs. This is personification. So see how different it is when we put all the similes and metaphors in our language. So now we start with similes and metaphor. A simile is where two things are directly compared and as or like is usually used to compare it. For example, as cold as a dog's nose. He was slow like a snail. So like this we say. Next is two things, but it does it more directly without using. In metaphor, two things are compared, but it does not directly say, it does not use as or like. Without that only, it is implied simply. The shop was a little gold mine over here, metaphor. So let us define it nicely. Simile, a comparison of two different things using words like or as. For example, on her first day of school, Jane was as cool as a cucumber. Metaphor, a comparison of two different things that does not use the words like or as. For example, Noah has a heart of a lion.
Brinda,
Heart of a lion. Somebody is unmuted. I request you people to please mute yourself so that others can listen properly. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Simile, comparing two unlike things using like or as. The trees stood still as giant statues. The train whistle was like a sad song. So here, what is the metaphor like? Here we are not using like or as. It is the implied simile. The dog bark, it is the dog bark is a song. So the dog bark is metaphor. So this is the example like that only. Here we can say, this is the quiz for you people. So you can tell me now. You can switch on your speakers, unmute yourself and say simile or metaphor. So please participate in this. It is simile number 1, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks. Is it east and Juliet is the sun? Please tell.
Metaphor.
Metaphor. Juliet is the sun. It thy east. Yes, it is thy east metaphor. Poor thing, your hands are as cold as ice. Yes, dear. Simile. Elder American ladies leaning on their
No, simile
cane
versus metaphor है. जल्दी वो
listed
phone किधर
towards
है?
me like towers on pizza. Pizza
Metaphor.
towers.
चार्जिंग पे रखो, मैं भेजा ये.
Yes.
जल्दी करो.
Somebody please reply.
जल्दी.
Who is
Metaphor,
unmuted?
ma'am.
Please mute
Metaphor.
yourself.
और metaphor
Third
चल
one is
रहा है.
metaphor.
Yes, thank you so much for answering.
मैं तो बताएगा
Yes,
ही.
dear.
मेरे को तो नींद
Let me
में
check
भी
who
पूछेगा
is
तो भी मेरे को.
sorry to not mute.
Lot of disturbance is there.
अरे
Somebody
जाने
has.
दे.
And please mute everyone on your end.
Priya ma'am.
करो जाओ. चार्जिंग पे रखो.
Thank you so much.
उधर मत
Please
रखो.
mute yourself. I request all the educators only reply when I am asking you so that everybody can hear it properly. Yes, thank you so much. Okay. The girl over there looks a lot like my sister. So what is it? Which poetic device? Metaphor or simile?
Simile.
Yes, ma'am.
Simile.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are going to the next one now. Yes.
ये
So
मंडे.
whenever we are using similes and metaphor, we should not overdo the usage. Be sure the comparison
Tuesday ना
makes
तो 21
sense.
पे Tuesday ही आएगा.
Alternatively, you
बराबर.
could use a simile or metaphor to make an
चलो.
ironic or
मैथ्स निकाल.
sarcastic
मैथ्स का
statement.
वो कर.
How can I make this
कहाँ गया?
statement?
गायब.
Sorry to interrupt. Somebody's mic is still unmuted.
कौन सा है?
Shiny,
That, ma'am,
someone
can I
called
go?
Shiny Rajiv. Yes,
Should I
ma'am.
go? Yes, ma'am. There is Shiny, ma'am, please mute yourself. Shiny ma'am has raised, no, somebody has raised the hand. Yes, please. Anybody wants to say something?
Ma'am, your lecture is very good, but others don't follow the protocol of muting the mic. It's
Yes, ma'am.
becoming
That
a
is
great
why
disturbance.
I am requesting from the very beginning. Please mute yourself. I hope now
We are
everybody is muted.
listening to you a lot, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry if I have interrupted.
No. It's all right, ma'am. This is a prime, duty to mute ourselves when we have to listen, like others are also listening. Okay, here we were that whenever we are using metaphor and similes, please don't overdo it in your, whenever you are writing something. Yes. So now let us read. Nina is confused. She wrote a story for school and in it a husband and a wife were fighting a lot. She referred to their relationship as an unhappy marriage. She believes this is personification because a marriage cannot be unhappy. But her friend Sarah says it is something called a transferred epithet. Who is right? Any guesses?
Sarah is right, ma'am.
Yes. So now let us understand what is transferred epithet and personification. Yes, the word epithet comes from the Greek word epithets, which means attributed or added. Often this word or phrase used to describe the person becomes synonymous with the person and can be used as part of his or her name or in place of his or her name. So here is the definition. See, this poetic device is mostly used in our classes 10th and 12th, isn't it? And 11th also. Epithet is a descriptive literary device that describes a place, a thing, or a person in such a way that it helps in making its characteristics more prominent than they actually are. Also, it is known as a by name or descriptive title. Here is the definition for everybody to understand. Transferred epithet is a figure of speech in which the epithet is transferred from the appropriate noun to modify another to which it does not really belong. This is the main thing to understand. Okay. See, sleepless is a noun. Is it a noun? No. What is noun in this?
Night.
Night is noun.
Night is the last.
Adjective we can.
Sleepless is adjective.
Yes.
Adjective.
It is adjective.
So
So
yeah.
the night has been made sleepless. That's why the quality of sleeplessness has been transferred to night. That's why the
Night.
both these, yes, it is the transferred epithet. When
Payment
the
here?
attribute
Payment
of
करनी है
one,
ना?
they are transferred to another, then that becomes the transferred epithet. So he stands down on a protesting chair. Okay. Here we can see that the quality characteristic is transferred from the subject noun to a trait. Here we can see some of the classic reference. And still they rode amidst the roar of waters fast prevailing. This poem everybody has, I think, taught in class 9. Lord Ullin reached that fatal shore. His wrath was changed to wailing. See, fatal shore has been highlighted. So Lord Ullin's daughter dies as her boat capsizes on leaving the shore. Thus, it is the boat journey that is fatal. But this outcome has been transferred to the shore. So the shore has become fatal. So that is, what do we say this? Transfer epithet. I have had such a wonderful workshop, isn't it? So this is an example of a transferred epithet because the workshop would not be wonderful, but the experiences that you would carry from the workshop would make you feel wonderful, isn't it, dear educators? Now let's look at the use of personification. Personification makes writing more vivid. Writers utilize personification for effect. Applying human characteristics to non-human things gives those things particular qualities that they would otherwise lack. Personification makes literature and writing more engaging and more interesting. In many cases, it brings life to abstract object or ideas. For example, in the above example, time is given human qualities and therefore brings this abstract concept to life. Here is the example. Few of literature's best examples of personifications are the brook. See, everybody taught this poem when we were teaching in class 9th. I come from haunts of coot and hern. I make a sudden sally and sparkle out among the fern to bicker down the valley. Have you all recognized the poem, dear educators?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for the response. Okay, now we have example. This is this is the example of mirror when we are talking about, we taught in class 10th. Okay, I am silver and exact and I have no preconceptions. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately, just as it is, unmisted by love or dislike. I am not cruel, only truthful. The eye of a little god, four-cornered. Which poetic device has been used in this?
Personification.
Ma'am, metaphor. I am silver and exact. The eye of a little god. The eye of a little. It is not said that I am like an eye. It is said the eye of a little god. Mirror. Okay. Have a look. It's personification. The friendly road rose up and beckoned them. So this is friendly road. Road is lifeless, but it rose means personification has been used over here. The swift arrow thought before striking the innocent swan. So what is it? It thought means behaving like humans, so personification. Other common everyday examples are, my flower pots were begging for water. Do the plants they beg? Do the pots they beg? No. But as it is used, this particular word, so it shows that it is the example of personification. The moon was playing hide and seek with the clouds. Time flies when one is having fun. Okay. I am an example of personification. So you can all see this particular image. You can't get rid of your fears, but you can learn to live with them. So test yourself now. The plowman plods along and weary way. Time and tide waits for none. Personification? Here, educated. The flowers dance in the wind. Example of personification?
Yes.
Nobody's answering. She gave him
Yes,
a
it is.
knowing smile. Yes. See, it becomes good when we all are talking, when we are telling each other, because this particular webinar is for sharing thoughts, because everybody knows whatever I am doing today. So if you will answer, it will be very beneficial for me also. A transferred epithet is the transfer of a modifier from one noun to another. So, transferred epithet. The plowman plods along and weary way. She gave him a knowing smile. Knowing smile, transferred epithet. Personification, on the other hand, means assigning the quality of a living being, such as an action, speech, or emotion, to an inanimate object. Okay. So personification, time and tide wait for none. Now we are coming to hyperbole and understatement. Both are contradictory figure of speech. Hyperbole. Hyperbole, what is it? When we exaggerate statements or claims.
Exaggeration.
Yes.
Exaggeration.
Yes. And extravagant, when you want to say something and use more flowery language, isn't it? And extravagant statement, that the use of exaggerated terms for the purpose of emphasis or heightened effect. Okay, they are not meant to be taken literally. I am so hungry, I could eat a horse. Imagine. So you are saying that you are hungry, but you want to emphasize your hunger. That's why you said that I could eat a horse. This is an example of hyperbole, because you could not really eat a horse, no matter how hungry you are. In this example, you are emphasizing your hunger. Okay. Dear educators, if the time gets over and the meeting gets over in between, please join with the same link again. I request you all. Okay. He is 100 feet tall. So this is all example. I nearly died laughing. Who dies with laughter? Yes. What is the opposite of hyperbole? So that is understatement is the opposite. Okay. Compression, decrease, lessening. All these are the opposite of hyperbole. Yes. Understatement. How? See, when you are hiding something. Looks, it rained a bit last night. Do you think a car will be in this position, drowning, if it had rained little bit? No, it is an understatement, the things of saying like that. Yes. What is understatement? A figure of speech in which a writer or a speaker deliberately makes a situation seem less important or serious than it is. Somebody's mic is on. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Nidhi ma'am, please mute yourself. Nidhi ma'am, please mute yourself. Angel also, please mute yourself. Okay. Next is example. I have to have this operation. It isn't very serious. I have this tiny little tumor on the brain. See, it is not tiny. It's very dangerous, isn't it? He is not too thin, describing an obese person. This is an example of understatement, as the speaker wants us to exaggerate the situation or obesity of the person. See, it is a bit nippy-toddy, describing the temperature which is 5 degrees below freezing. So all understatements. So hyperbole, we can say, used to emphasize a feeling, reaction, or effort, a figure of speech which is an exaggeration, definition, that is the definition over here. And now we say example of, that is other statements aren't necessarily true and should not be taken literally, often confused with simile and metaphor. Okay, I had a ton of homework. Imagine. I nearly died laughing. I am so hungry I could eat a horse. So that is hyperbole. Now next one we have litotes and euphemism. So litotes is a form of understatement. This is also understatement. The intentional presentation of something as smaller, worse, or lesser than it really is. Authors and speakers use for many reasons. One of which is to display restraint or display modesty in describing something amazing. Litotes is pretty simple in the way it works. Instead of stating something directly, you state that the contrary statement is not true. Okay. So some additional key details about litotes. Litotes usually works by negating or superlative or extreme statement, right? That's it is not. Yes, ma'am. Somebody has raised the hand.
Naveen,
Please remove them. It's a lot of questions for us, ma'am.
I
You
know,
are
ma'am.
like,
I had muted them earlier
remove
also.
them.
Just a minute, ma'am. I'm
मैं
muting
कह रहा
again.
हूँ नीतीश को अगर फिटनेस ले तो कईयों से ठीक मिलेगा मजाक हाँ तीन छूट
Yeah, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
Someone is
ma'am.
unmuted.
एक बार ट्राई कर
Lots
ले
of disturbances we are
Wait,
in.
I am muting this one who is disturbing. Just a minute, ma'am. Yeah, now muted. Yes, ma'am. Somebody wanted to talk to me? Yes. Yes. Should I continue?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a query here. You know, at times, like by definition, we do understand like what is these literary devices.
Litotes.
But the problem arises when it has to be find out. We need to look into the poetries or the text. It becomes quite difficult at that particular moment to comprehend which literary device has been used, either metaphor or personification. We tend to get confused, and at
And
times even
metaphor and personifications are simple to understand. Metaphor is when it becomes, see, in simple English, I would like to explain to you, it becomes the thing to which it is compared, isn't it? For one example I will give you of simile, that is, he fought like a lion in the war. This is simile, like a lion. He was the lion of the war. So that is metaphor. The person had been, compared, his bravery has been compared to the lion's bravery. But
I have understood. Even I give the same example, wherein I tell to the children that it's not one thing is like another. It is another. We say it is another. It is an implied comparison. But even then, at one point, I feel somewhere the children fail to understand.
ma'am, what happens is, like we talk in mathematics, that it is a matter of practice. So that is what it is. The more we practice, the more we learn. As educators, you are telling all the literary devices and poetic devices in the class, isn't it, ma'am? So
Yes,
by
ma'am.
and by, when they do all, like you should give a complete, like this we say, I have with me. I hope it will be visible. So a complete thing, like you have made a whole of one poem, which are the poetic devices, like keeping quiet for class 12th. So we will count alliteration. We will all keep quiet alliteration, not move our arms much alliteration. So like this, make a PDF and give to your students of those particular poems. I
Yes,
hope I
ma'am.
am clear in my statement. May I continue?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that will help, ma'am, really help. Yes. Now example that we can see, he is not very generous man, means he is a miser. He is not friendliest person I have met. So he is unfriendly. It won't be an easy trip. It means it is going to be a very difficult. So understatement and we can say hyperbole, two contradictory statements. So now next is euphemism. That is EU means good, well, plus fem. That is speech, voice, utterance or speaking. Euphemism is the use of agreeable or inoffensive words to replace rude or offensive ones. It helps writers convey those ideas that have become a social taboo and are too embarrassing to mention directly. So we indirectly say those things. So here we can say, avoid using words that have a negative stigma attached to them. Avoid offending others by speaking a taboo. Or see, if you are using rough language, it is not good. We have to use good language only. So we say overuse of euphemism is not good, isn't it? So here we can see some of the examples. Pre-owned, when we have to say use, or second hand, that is senior citizen, we all know, for an old person, differently abled, those with physically handicapped, we use differently abled. Poor countries, we don't say that. In migrant, third world, we say. And who is visually impaired, है ना? We say for blind, visually impaired, being at war, state of armed conflict. So there are different things of saying things, different ways of saying things. Here, retort is the form of understatement which uses a negative to assert the opposite, that is positive. So that we have to be little bit. Euphemism is a polite way of saying something more unpleasant, and speakers use euphemism to avoid using words that have a negative stigma attached to them. Here we can see, this is a very nice clip, so I brought for you. Good news, dear. I am going to be spending more time with you. See, he is fired. He is out of his job, but what is he telling? That it is good news. I am going to spend more time. So it is in the same manner, this clip also. Hello, Simpson. Somebody said you had gone into the timber and phosphorus business. He is selling matches, but the way of saying is different. Some of these statements may make you pause and think. Here are some thoughts provoking paradox examples. Save money by spending it. If I know one thing, it is that I know nothing. This is the beginning of end. See, imagine two different things. So what is it? Paradox. A paradox is a logical puzzle that seems to contradict itself. No, it isn't. Actually, it is. So both are contradictory. So what do we say? That is, an oxymoron is a figure of speech, words that seem to cancel each other out. Like working is different, vacation is different. So both put together. You are
Social
oxymorons.
distancing. The latest
The
version
word
is social
itself is
distancing.
an oxymoron, a contradiction. It becomes from the Greek oxys for sharp and morose for stupid, sharply stupid. So sharply also and stupid also. See, sharp, the person who is sharp is intelligent, but here stupid is opposite of that. So that way, two different words. So here we can see this poem, oxymoron zombie. Yes, perfectly imperfect. A pretty ugly zombie lost her head. Then definitely maybe sweet sorrow in end. The beautiful beastly undead girl clearly misunderstood, did contend that she was an evil genius and terribly good at being an oxymoron, like all nice zombies should. So oxymoron, we can see definition and meaning. Oxymoron is derived from a Greek word oxus, which means sharp, and this we have already done. Oxymoron is a figure of speech in which two opposite ideas are joined to create an exact. It is a combination of an adjective preceded by a noun and contrasting meanings. If somebody has Please on the mic. Please mute yourself. Okay. Examples of oxymoron: absent, presence. Alone, together. See, two different ideas, two different words are used over here together. So here we can see. Let me check whose mic is not muted. I will mute that person right now. Yes. Yes. So can you see?